So I get asked this all of the time. What are some of the things that a CNA or a nurse can do? Let's talk about it. Okay, so I get asked this all of the time. What are some of the things, what are some of the places that a CNA, or I'm going to extend it to nurses, can do? Now, I'm one of those people who believe very, very strongly that we all cannot work on the floor. We all cannot do direct care nursing or CNA job. Okay, the sky is not even the limit. There's so many things that you can do, and I'm going to use myself as an example. So when I first started, again, for those of you, I don't know if I've mentioned it here on YouTube, but nursing wasn't my first rodeo. I've done other things before nursing, which one of these days I'm going to go into, because I think that's one of the questions someone asked me. What are some of the things I have done before nursing? And others have asked me, since nursing, what have I done? What have I been doing? So for me, for those of you who've been watching my channel, I've been doing this for over 20 years. So I'm actually kind of like cooked. Done. Stick a fork in me, I am done. However, having said that, now this is not to knock off or to knock aside those who love direct care. There are people who are professional nurses. They love it, okay? They want to do the direct care. They want to do the whole basic nursing and basic nursing skills and just taking care of patients, not going into management or going into any field outside the hospital or the nursing home, and that's all well and fine. However, one size doesn't fit all. My job as Nurse Amy is to introduce you and to share with you information that I have. Not everyone wants to do floor nursing, which is the same as direct care nursing. That's you working on the floor in the unit, okay? And in some places outside of the United States, we say the ward, okay? WARD. Okay, so having said that, now for me, I very early on in my nursing journey, I worked as a treatment nurse. And for those of you who know what treatment nurses do and know anything about wound dressings, you find that a lot of those dressings are actually on the sacrum, okay? Sacrum? My students, sacrum, you all know what sacrum is. Okay, so that's like the tailbone. So a lot of times you find yourself bent like a pretzel, just trying to reach there because there's no one helping you. So I think my body mechanics was just thrown off. So right now, fast forward many years later, I have back issues. Okay, sometimes it gets so bad, I'm literally limping. Okay, and then I've got sciatica. So that essentially in itself has kind of moved my focus away from direct care because it became increasingly difficult for me to work standing on my feet, pushing the cart, and just giving my best as a direct care nurse. Now, this is my story. I'm not saying this is what happened to everyone, but I can promise you a lot of nurses and CNAs have back issues. Again, because there's a lot of lifting, there's a lot of supporting, there's a lot of bending into unnatural positions, just trying to get your work done. Anyway, so I started looking into other things. When I got into nursing, one of the things that attracted me in doing nursing was I could parlay that into other departments. Does that make sense? Like other type of ways I can do nursing. Okay, so for nurses, you can go into business, like a nurse entrepreneur, which is something I'm going to probably start talking about because I'm all about that. Okay, however, let me take it back a little bit. So what places can you work in? Because I get this all the time when I'm on Facebook and in some of those groups that I belong to. Some just direct message me or, even DM me on my Instagram. I am so burnt out. Where can I work? You can work in you can do so many things. Okay, so you can work in a doctor's office. And I have done a video about this before. You can work in a doctor's office. You can work in a dialysis center. You can work home health. You can work agency. Okay, where you're pretty much setting up your own schedule. Okay, if you don't want to work in a nursing home, every CNA and every nurse doesn't have to work in a nursing home or in the hospital. You don't have to do that. Now, these places I talked about, the dialysis center, the doctor's offices, you are working with people, but it's just a different type of workload. Okay. Home health is the same thing. You're probably doing more one-on-one. Again, home health is in different ways. It's either you're doing facility or you're doing one-on-one visit to homes. Okay. You're either doing that as working with the elderly, or you're working with those that people that have disabilities. Okay, the home health is a whole different beast. So maybe one of those days also, if you want me to talk about it, I can talk about it. Different home health. Oh God, I know so many things about these things. And so that's one. Okay, you can also start your own business. You can own any of these places. You can own a group home. You know, it's either you work in a group home or you can own one. You can own your own nursing agency. Okay, so these are for those nurse entrepreneurs. Okay, if you're thinking of business, something I'm probably going to talk about, because right now for me, now I pilot mine into teaching. Okay, which I really, really, really love. I love to impact knowledge, and I love the people God has brought my way into my classroom, and which essentially brought me to YouTube. And I've always taught in one way or the other. I've always been in a teaching position, as in, I think it just comes naturally to me. So that's one. You can teach. Okay, you can teach in a nursing school. You can have your own school. You can teach online like I'm doing now. There's the YouTube there. There's my website that I'm putting up, and because people have been on me, oh my God, for the longest time for this, for me to be able to get my videos to them, and the one-on-one teaching, which I have been doing, but which I want to do more. So this is something, again, being a registered nurse, that I can do. Another thing I'm thinking of doing right now, and I've shared it in some of my videos, is going into aesthetics. Okay, being an aesthetic nurse. So that is something that's really attractive to me right now. Going into the medical spa aspect of the aesthetics, I am so interested in that. Okay, so if you want me to talk some more about that, I can. Okay, aesthetics, it's such a wide range, from the cosmetology part of it to the medical aspect of it, so you can pick and choose. Okay, and nurses are going into this and they're making bank. Okay. You can write about your experience. You can teach about experience. You can write about experience. Once I get my website going, I do have ebooks for those of you who are close enough, who've been in my class or have followed me in any of my platforms. Part of my background is filmmaking. It's something I do want to really pursue, start making movies that pertain to the healthcare sector. I'm always about, because nursing is a part of my life now, I want to find a way to marry the two of them. Does that make sense? So I do write. I am trying to get my work published. So some of my students read my work. If you want me to talk more about my writings, because I'm an author. So that's something I want to get out there. And people are like, we need to read your work. So I do have self-help books. Again, these are things I've picked up over the years. I'm no spring chicken, so I do have some knowledge to impact. But you don't have to be a spring chicken, okay? You don't have to not be a spring chicken. Anyone can impact knowledge. But these are some of the things that you can do. If you like to write, why don't you write? Nurses can do all these things and more. I have nurses. Another thing I haven't talked about, actually, I do have a shop. I have a store where I sell clothing and what have you. Actually, on my Instagram, it's called the Scrub Life Store. Please go ahead and check it out. The Scrub Life Store. God, I hope I got it right. The Scrub Life Store is on Instagram. Please go ahead, support me. And for those that are already doing so, thank you. Okay, so there's so many things. The nurse can become, now when I say nurse, I also mean CNAs, okay? Because I do know CNAs that have nursing agency. Actually, there's a friend of mine helped start hers, okay? So you can do all this and more if you're into the business side of it. If not, if you can then do work in a doctor's office, your own pace, work in some of those standalone surgical centers, okay? Do home health. Home health, you can do one-on-one where you can work 8 to 12 hours with just the one patient. There's so many things to do. If you want me to talk more about this, to explore it further, because my students are always asking me, not only my students, just strangers, like, I'm burnt out. What can I do? So hopefully some of the ideas I've shared today, it's fine. If you want me to talk about certain ones or more about it, let me know and I will do so. So hopefully I've helped you, given you some good points today. Please subscribe if you haven't done so. It's free. Hit the notification bell and I'll see you in my next video.